Hello, I'm Langston in the back of my channel, Gymlandia. Today is the last day of Black History Month, unfortunately, and I just kind of wanted to come up with like a certain video I think is kind of very necessary on the gym tonight, and that is the underestimation of Black women in gymnastics. Unfortunately, this is the end of Diane Durham, Anya Hart, Shilese Jones month. At the end of the day, we gonna finish off on a positive but reflecting moment. So before we do that, I want you guys to all go follow me on X. Like, I need y'all to get on my Twitter bad. Like, the stuff I be going through on Twitter, like, ain't no way I should be like, it should just be me and a couple of my subscribers seeing that. Like, y'all should all be seeing that because y'all got all this to say on YouTube, but like, where y'all at? So, everyone watching this right now, pause the video and go search up Gymlandia 8680 on Twitter. Okay. Also, go follow me on Instagram. My Instagram, Gymlandia is underscore. That ain't that big of a deal to me. Like, I want y'all on Instagram, but y'all need to get on my Twitter now. Ain't no way I have all these subscribers, but I be basically like, nah, y'all need to get on my Twitter, period. But anyway, we're going to be diving in depth into the topic. So, Black women are oftentimes underestimated in everything they do in the world. People treat Black women like they're not really existent in terms of the competition. And it really shows. And when glass ceilings are broken, people oftentimes change the definition of the glass in the first place. Like, they want to sit up here and say the glass wasn't glass, it was plastic, to make it seem like the accomplishment either wasn't as big as it was, or make it seem like that they shouldn't have done it in the first place, right? So that is a truth of the perception of what it's like to be a Black woman across our globe. And I wanted to kind of reflect on how we have failed. And even I have. I'm pro-Black, in particular pro-Black woman. But listen, I don't fucked around a couple times, okay? Like, I can call a thing a thing. So obviously we know that Dominique Dawes was underestimated. I think that's Diane Dos Santos were very underestimated. We know that Diane Durham, Betty Okino, Anya Hodge, like, we already know that. But I'm going to talk about it more so in a recent sense. And dive so much in depth into understanding this basic concept that I think we oftentimes look over, and how I don't think that we're necessarily learning. So let's start off. So in 2012 was the perfect example of this. Gabby Douglas burst onto the scene, and no one would have ever betted that Gabby Douglas would have won the all around title in 2012, including myself if I was someone that was watching gymnastics back then. I only knew Gabby as someone at the top, but realistically, no one would ever consider her as a main contender. In 2011, Jordan Weaver and Allie Raisen were the top American all arounders. And before that, it was Rebecca Bras. Going into 2012, people designated Jordan Weaver as that girl, which I already talked about in my overrated video, right? But Komova was also designated as a top girl, as well as Larissa Yordaki, unfortunately, who did get hurt prior to the London Games. But still, those were the girls going into the London Olympics. No one ever imagined that someone like Gabby would come out the woodwork in 2012 and achieve what she did. And it really shows. And that wasn't the only time that people underestimated Gabby. While they overestimated the Great White Hope, and the Great White Hope wasn't hoping how it was supposed to. Okay, like all them prayers, them dreams, they wasn't dreaming. Okay, they wasn't dreaming as to what they wanted. But for Jordan and Komova and all these other gymnasts that were gassed up and people believed could achieve all this shit they did not end up doing, people look past it. And Gabby proved to us that she was that girl. And she proved to us again in 2015 when she was also underestimated in her comeback, as well as 2016 when she was put up against Maggie Nichols at the American Cup. And the whole Gymnet betted on Maggie Nichols beating her. And she proved that she was the greatest all around outside of Simone at the time. So again, when you underestimate a Black woman, it will fail at every time. And when you put a white woman on a pedestal, or a non-Black woman in general, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna collapse like the Twin Towers. Okay. Um, we also noticed this again in 2013 with Simone Biles. And, Simone Biles is someone that burst onto the scene in 2013, and very similar to, the other great white hopes at the time. We're talking about, or non-Black gymnasts that were put on a pedestal that people believed were going to be the future of gymnastics. We're talking about Caitlin Ohashi, Lexi Priestman, as well as numerous other ones. Nora Flatley, these were the gymnasts that people saw were going to be the future of USA Gymnastics prior to Gabby, because they thought Gabby was going to be the exception, not the rule. And Gabby proved that that wasn't the case. You know, it's as well as Simone. Simone, someone who did have a lot of potential, but was never really designated as a top contender going into 2000, going into the next quad. But she didn't just become a top contender; she became the greatest gymnast of all time. And in 2014, people betted on Larissa Yurdaki taking Simone Biles down, which she failed to do, which I already mentioned. And 2015, they also betted on Larissa Yurdaki, and she wasn't even good enough to beat Gabby Douglas, who just came back. And she also failed to get her whole country qualified to the Olympics, but that's some tea for another time. But still, another example of, putting unrealistic expectations on Karens. And when shit hits the wall, looking like Boo Boo the Fool when the results come in. So Simone Biles has remained undefeated in practically every major international competition, especially in the all around since then. And who would have betted on Gabby as well as Simone both achieving that? If I would have been watching gymnastics, I would not have believed it. I'm mean, talking about my own personal feelings and where I had to learn. So moving on, as well. This happened more so mine in 2021. There were two instances of this. But Jordan Childs came out of nowhere at the Tokyo Olympics. By Tokyo, I was following gymnastics. Like, I was really big. I wasn't on here, obviously, but I had Instagrams. I used to talk about gymnastics all the time. I would have never betted on Jordan Childs making the Olympics. I didn't believe she was a realistic contender. No one did, right? Like, we underestimated Jordan Childs going into Tokyo, and Jordan Childs proved to us that she was capable of being one of the best girls in the world. Unfortunately for her, she hasn't fixed her inconsistency. Like, duh, like she definitely had a lot of flaws, but even still, we never betted on her going to the Olympics, and y'all know that. Y'all didn't think she was going to go to the Olympics. I didn't think she was going to go to the Olympics as a pro black person. I didn't see her as a realistic contender. And she proved to us that don't fuck around with her. Like and she went on to achieve a lot of shit at the World Championships um into the next year prior. And despite her previous issues, people were willing to look past that when it came to other white gymnasts. But when it came to Jordan Childs, that shit was thrown out the woodworks. The biggest example of this, and one of the biggest examples realistically of my lifetime, was Rebecca Andrade in 2021 as well. Going into the Tokyo Olympics, most people did not realistically see Rebecca Andrade as a top contender, including me. Like, I can be real. I didn't see Rebecca Andrade as a top contender. No one did. If you go back and watch most people's um, predictions for the Tokyo Olympic results, no one betted on Rebecca Andrade winning a medal on ball. No one betted on her winning an all around medal, being one of the best all arounders in the world. And she proved that she is that bitch. And while y'all betted on OU Sean and Victoria Listanova and all these other hoes, Rebecca Andrade proved to you that she was that girl. And ever since then, she'd have been a force on the global stage. And for me, I think this is one of the most important because, I think that we oftentimes forget about the plight of Black Latinas. Black people outside of America. And, obviously, in particular, Latin America in particular. And that's why I resonate so much with her because unfortunately, we don't really see that many Black people in the media in Latin America. And to see someone like Rebecca Andrade rise to prominence, it really shows. And I really want to see a lot more positive representation and just representation period for Black women in Brazil. And they're seeing some improvements, but they're still way behind America and we ain't shit. We far from the promised land here. So considering how far we are to see how far they are behind us, it really speaks volumes to darker skinned Black women and Black women in particular in Latin America and across the Latin world. And Rebecca, she proved that despite her injuries, despite everything that she dealt with, that like I said, can't nothing stop a Black woman from achieving what she's blessed with. Okay, like when God has prayers for Black women, they gonna get it done. They gonna get it done every time, and they gonna do their big one, despite y'all feeling y'all kind of way. And some of these other hoes in particular, you know who I'm talking about. They go down with one simple mistake, but them, oh no 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 no. Beyond the sky, the atmosphere is the limit. And the last example of this is something that I had to confront issues I had within myself, and that is Shilese Jones in 2022. I never believed Shilese Jones would be a top gymnast in the world. Like, I never believed she'd be a top American gymnast. I underestimated her. I really did. I underestimated her, Rebecca, Jordan Childs. Obviously, Simone and Gabby were really before I really got into gymnastics so much. But still, I underestimated Charlize Jones. I think we all did. And it kind of shows you like y'all were quick to forgive Riley. You know, Riley fell hella times, but y'all still saw the best in her. What's that song? When everyone else around could only see the worst in me. Like y'all still saw the best in Riley. Like y'all still saw the best in Grace. You believed that Reagan Smith could overcome her injuries. But you, even I, we didn't believe Charlize Jones could achieve what she achieved last quad. If you would have told me Charlize Jones would have been a two-time all-around medal, she would have medaled twice on uneven bars in 2018, I would have laughed. Like, you're joking. And Charlize Jones has proved to be one of the best American gymnasts we've ever seen. And it really shows to you the underestimation of a black woman is her greatest strength. And when talking about Charlize, her listen, the potential that she has is off the radar. And I'm just so happy that she's able to bring so much love to her father. I know he's shining down from her from heaven, in Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men's voice. That it really speaks a lot. And for Shilese, I'm so curious to see what she does, as well as Rebecca and Simone, as well as Gabby. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is a lot of people are underestimating what Gabby's capable of. A lot of y'all are underestimating what Jordan Child's capable of. A lot of y'all are underestimating Trinity Thomas. A lot of y'all are underestimating Sky Blakely, as well as Kalia Lincoln and etc. And I do want to say that, hey, we can be realists. Like I mentioned, Jordan Childs got inconsistency. Sky Blakely inconsistent. Kalia Lincoln inconsistent. Becky Downey inconsistent. Right? Like we can be realists. Melanie Jesus Dos Santos as well. But the point is, don't bet against a black woman's success. And we can be honest. It doesn't mean they're gonna make the team this time. Just because they might not make it now won't mean that they won't become one of the greatest gymnasts of our generation a year from now. So, as I said, the underestimation of a black woman is her greatest strength, and the overestimation of a white woman is her greatest downfall. So remember that, and that's something that we see in all around our planet, in particular in gymnastics. And I want to just kind of highlight this video to end Black History Month. Another thing is, I posted a video for Black Brazilians roughly a week back. It was a very beautiful video. It's very short. I want y'all to go check it out, as well as a video for Black Americans. I posted it a couple of days ago. I use Lift Every Voice and sing the trill of the white people because they want to be upset because we as niggas have our own national anthem, even though they banned us from everything. Like what you thought was gonna happen, okay? And we can do what fuck we want to do over here. And what you gonna do about it? We're gonna keep singing it and make sure to never stop singing that song. I remember every words, every lyrics, and that is ours to have, okay? And overjoyed, which I use for Rebecca and Diane, I was so overjoyed for Rebecca. And I talked about this earlier. Overjoyed is one of my favorite songs, and I think that for her in particular, where she came from, what she represents for Black people in Latin America, as well as what she overcame, 3 ACL tears, and Shorty still what one of the best gymnasts in the world. But y'all making excuses for these white hoes that they got a twisted ankle. So it really shows. But anyway, I'm Langston. And I'm back on my channel, Gymlandia. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Please confront your own experiences and your own biases that we learn against Black women just naturally about underestimating them. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below. Make sure to have a nice day, you guys. Goodbye.